for the fans. The glory for the pinstripes.
All the chatter is pointing in one direction, but my sources are telling me the front office is about to pull a massive U-turn. The real play, the one nobody sees coming, could change the future of our infield forever. To understand this shocking twist, subscribe now and hit the bell because this news is breaking. What's up, Yanks Nation? Welcome back to the channel. Around here, we don't waste time with fluff. We get straight to the source, to the info that really matters to us, the most demanding fan base in baseball. And today, I'm bringing you a piece of news that could completely change the course of our season and the shape of our infield for years to come. For the past few weeks, all the talk has been about one thing: the Yankees' relentless search for a third baseman. We saw the Jazz Chisholm Jr. experiment at third, and let's be honest, it didn't pan out as we'd hoped. He's an elite defensive second baseman, but over at the hot corner, it was a different story. Since he moved back to second base on Tuesday night, the signal couldn't be clearer. Brian Cashman and the front office are on the market. But what if I told you that the biggest shakeup, the most impactful move the Bronx Bombers could make, isn't for a third baseman, but for a position many of us considered set? Hold on tight, because the intel I have is scorching hot and comes from highly respected sources in the game. According to a major piece published Wednesday by The Athletic, penned by Chad Jennings, Tim Britton, and Aaron Gleeman, a surprising name has been put on the table as a potential target for the Yankees at this year's trade deadline. And it's not just any player. We're talking about Ozzie Albies, the Atlanta Braves second baseman, a three-time All-Star. I know what you're thinking. But we have Gleyber Torres and DJ LeMahieu. Why go after another second baseman? Relax, bleacher creatures. The play here is much deeper and more strategic. The trio of analysts from The Athletic raised an intriguing possibility, and I quote, "Maybe the season has gone poorly enough for Atlanta and for Albies that a player with notoriously cheap team control through 2027 becomes available." That sentence is the key to everything. Albies' contract is one of the most team-friendly deals in all of MLB. And for an organization like the Evil Empire, which needs flexibility to keep stars like Juan Soto, that's music to the ears. Let's break down the facts. Ozzie Albies, at just 28 years old, is in the midst of his worst season as a big leaguer. In 90 games, he's posted an OPS of just .607, a number far below what you'd expect from a player of his caliber. Since 2022, his performance has been league average, largely due to injuries that have sidelined him for significant time, including a wrist issue that might still be lingering. The situation has gotten so critical that there's a legitimate possibility the Braves could decline his $7 million team option for next season. They might just decide the risk is too high, and that's exactly where the Yankees come in. This is a classic buy low opportunity. We're talking about a player who, when healthy, is one of the most dynamic guys in the league. A three-time All-Star with a career OPS of .775. 775, a solid defender at second and a switch hitter who can bring a whole new dimension to our lineup. The question our front office must be weighing right now is this: are Albies' current numbers a reflection of a permanent decline, or are they the result of lingering effects from injuries? If it's the latter, acquiring him now for a potentially low price in terms of prospects could be one of Brian Cashman's most brilliant moves in years. The reward is massive. Imagining an infield with a healthy Albies at second and DJ LeMahieu finally settling in at third, or even the possibility of Gleyber Torres being included in a larger package to clear a spot, completely redraws the future of the pinstripes. For the Braves, the logic also makes sense. With their season going down the drain, trading an asset like Albies, even at his lowest value, might be the best way to inject new talent into their farm system and start rebuilding for the future. They need a jolt, and a trade with the Yanks could provide just that. This isn't just speculation. This is an analysis based on our team's clear need, a unique market opportunity, and the business logic of both franchises. The name Ozzie Albies is indeed being discussed internally at Yankee Stadium. Now, let's get into the deeper strategic analysis, because this is where we separate the casuals from the true Yankees fans. The big question isn't just if the Yankees should pursue Ozzie Albies. but why this would be the right move over targeting a pure third baseman, as we've been discussing for months. Let's lay the cards on the table. Acquiring Albies will be a high-risk, high-reward gamble. On one hand, you're bringing in a player who right now is putting up worse numbers than guys we already have on the roster. His .607 or .607 OPS is alarming. There's no sugarcoating that. The trade would require giving up valuable prospects from our system, which isn't exactly the deepest in the league, for a player who might never rediscover his all-star form. It's a bet on a bounce back. A bet that, if it goes wrong, could cost us dearly in both traded talent and the missed opportunity to solve our third base need with a safer option. And I know what a lot of you, the real bleacher creatures, are screaming right now. Why risk it on a struggling second baseman when the hole is at third? It's a legitimate question. However, let's look at this through the front office's lens, through the cold, calculated eyes of Brian Cashman. First, the contract. The team control over Albies through 2027 at a bargain basement price is the kind of asset that changes a franchise's financial planning. It would give us tremendous payroll flexibility to, for example, offer Juan Soto the max contract he deserves and still have room to bolster the bullpen or rotation down the line. It's a financial chess move. Second, the upside. At 28, Albies is entering his theoretical prime as a baseball player. If his production slump is truly tied to injuries and he gets a full offseason to heal, we're talking about adding an elite player to our core for a very low cost. It would be like finding a diamond in the rough. Third, the domino effect on the roster. The arrival of Albies would most likely spell the end of the Gleyber-Torres era in the Bronx. Gleyber is a free agent at the end of the year, and his defensive inconsistency has always been a point of contention. The trade could happen now, with Gleyber being part of a package to another team, or we could simply non-tender him. This would open up second base for Albies and force a definitive solution at third, which would likely be DJ LeMahieu taking over the position full-time, something many of us believe is his best defensive spot anyway. This move would be a clear signal that the Yankees are thinking not just about winning the World Series this year, but about building a sustainable dynasty for the next 5 years. It's a play that aims to maximize talent and financial efficiency, the trademarks of the evil empire. The risk is real, but the prize is the chance to solidify our infield with an elite, young, and cheap talent for multiple seasons. It's the kind of bold decision that separates champions from mere contenders. The Yankees front office didn't become the most successful in history by being afraid to take risks. They became who they are by identifying opportunities where others see problems. The Ozzie Albies situation is exactly that. A problem for the Braves that could become the long-term solution for the Bronx Bombers. The question for us is, do we trust our front office to make this bet? Now, I want to hear from you, Yanks Nation. What do you think about this possibility? Is acquiring Ozzie Albies, with all the risk and all the potential involved, the right move for the Pinstripes? Or do you believe the front office should focus 100% on finding an established, safer third baseman for the stretch run? Drop your opinions in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to know what the most passionate fan base in sports is thinking. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. The trade deadline is heating up, and I'll be right here bringing you the hottest intel and the deepest analysis the second it drops. You're not gonna want to miss a thing.